Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roach.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new Only Murders in the Building Season 5 theory discussion. And because this season has just kicked off with 3 episodes, there is no better time to talk about suspects.
Absolutely. There are so many suspects on the table. We have 2 murders this season. We have Nicky, we have Lester. Are they connected? Feels like it, but you never know with this show, right? So we're going to go over some of the very early suspects. Have we even met this person yet? Probably, but you never know with the show.
Yeah, I think that they have intentionally given us as many possibilities as possible here. Like, we have such an array of people, extremely rich people, people who are tied to Lester or Nicky because of their family, because of marriage. I mean, this season, just when it comes to the sheer number of suspects already introduced, it's a lot. And that's without even entertaining the idea that, okay, have we not met this person yet? Like, a big part of me feels like no as well. But then again, the writers might be like, oh, these past several seasons, we've introduced the killer really early, so we want to try to mix things up a little bit now.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. I mean, we are 5 seasons deep now, so at this point, I'm sure they want to change up the formula a little bit where, it has been, we meet, the murder pretty early on, and then episode like 6 or 7, we get like a focused episode on like some character who always ends up being the murderer.
Yeah, I do hope that they change a couple of things up this time around, because I mean, so much of the fun that comes with this show is like the thrill of the surprise. And I mean, I'll just say that for me personally, I like being wrong. Like, I like it when they're able to sort of subvert my expectations and then be like, ha, you were silly for not seeing this, because that means that they're operating on a really high level.
Yeah, and we just want to remind everybody that all theories are valid at this point.
Yes.
Nothing has been proven yet. We want to hear all your theories. It doesn't matter how silly you might think they are. We are here for them. We have our tinfoil hats on. We are ready to talk suspects.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really fun. And before we get into any of it, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are here all season long with Only Murders in the Building coverage. We have every week reviews, previews, theories. We love talking to you guys in the comments, as Jess has said. And by subscribing, you are doing everything you can to make sure that you don't miss any of our other updates the moment that they are posted.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. We are really looking forward to chatting with you this season. And if you want to talk to us further, you can head over to our Patreon. Over there, we've got polls, more chat, all kinds of stuff on Only Murders in the Building. So head on over there. I'll leave a link for you below.
Thank you guys so much for your support over there on Patreon.
Okay, let's get into the most, I guess we'll call her the most obvious suspect, and that is Sophia, who is the person who went to hire the trio. Now, I know there might be some people out there being like, well, why would she hire them if she's the person who did it? So there's a misdirect that it's like, why would I hire you if I did it? For exactly that reason. You don't want anyone to know that it was you.
It is a very classic murder mystery trope in that way.
Yes.
And I think the appeal of this, like, first and foremost, it just comes from Taya Leone having a big role in this season. Like, it would be really, really fun. It's another trope, the idea that, okay, the spouse is somehow involved, that they are the person responsible for all of this.
It's always the spouse. And for, Sophia as well, she has said that her relationship with her husband, not great. He's off doing all kinds of things that she's not okay with. He's cheating on her, all of that. It's possible that it could be out of that. But I've also been feeling like, because Nicky's death has been set up to like start a fight with another mob family, I was like, okay, maybe it's Sophia, one of the sons. Somebody is setting up by killing off Nicky to have this fight with another mob family so that the mob can then come back into power again. That, it was that the mob was like the glamorous big thing. Then the billionaires have come in and the mob has kind of come out. Maybe Sophia's like, it's my time now. Nicky's dropped the ball on it. He's let the of billionaires come in. I'm done with him. I'll kill him off. I'll set it up that this other family did it, and we will get into a huge fight, and we will have headlines. It'll all be back.
I think that's one really good case for it. The other really good case is just the idea that no matter who we're talking about here, when it comes to a suspect, we have to consider, okay, would they have a huge awareness for the Velvet Room? Would they have a huge awareness towards both Nicky and also Lester, if we are going to assume that the same killer took out both of them? And I mean, for Sophia, it couldn't be more obvious. It's pretty clear that Nicky had a pretty established presence there. We've seen that in the past. We've seen that in the present. So it's like, okay, then Sophia obviously was married to Nicky. She knows all the comings and goings there. She's probably been to this Velvet Room a lot, because all this is also kind of important for establishing the timeline, being able to access the dry cleaners where we know Nicky's body ended up being, but then also having sort of the wherewithal that, okay, we can't have Nicky's body be revealed at the same time as Lester's, because we want these to at least look like there are two different crimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's the possibility that they are the same killer, that if it was Sophia or Sophia hired somebody, maybe Lester saw, and that's what's happened to him.
Okay, now here's the big reason why it's not going to be Sophia, and this just comes down to Only Murders. You guys do not need to repeat yourselves. We have already seen some flirtiness going on here with Sophia and Charles. And then it's just like, okay, are we just re-microwaving the Jan nachos at this point?
He has a type. Maybe it's the murderous women. I really don't want to see the same thing again. I'd actually just like to see Charles meet somebody and be happy.
Yeah, I would too. And if it is Sophia, I think that could be fun. Like, I actually do think that, Steve and Taya, there's a little bit of chemistry that's here.
I think so too. I actually do not think that it's her, because we do have this whole thing going on with the two of them, a little bit of flirtiness, but also just Charles's story last season and this season has been building up that he is sort of looking for his own space in life. How is he going to be spending his twilight years? Is it going to be with somebody alone, maybe working again, coming out of retirement? Who knows? He's very lost.
Okay, well, let's stay in the family here with Sophia, because let's have a conversation about these kids for a moment, because one of the important questions as Only Murders sleuths that we all have to be thinking about is, why is this scene here? And I know the scene in the premiere where we learned about the sons and their secret hobbies when it comes to the house and all that. Like, it was really, really funny.
Yeah, their podcast. Hey, I'm talking here.
Yeah, what's going on here? But it's just like, okay, as funny as all of that was, is there something more here? Like, is this character, Braden, for example, more than just a joke because his name does not sound like a mobster?
Yeah, or is that it exactly, that he is a joke, and because of that, where his name doesn't sound like a mobster, and the trio even kind of said something, I'm sure that means that Braden's probably heard that like a lot in his life. And if that's the case, maybe he wants to show that he is more than his name. He's living in the Godfather house, his father is Nicky, and maybe Nicky's dropping the ball. The same sort of motive that would be going on with Sophia, that he wants to prove himself. He will never be the person that would move into where Nicky's spot is. It'll be all the other brothers first, that he instead then is going to take out his father, start this fight with this other family, and be the guy who steps up to be like, I am going to take care of business. I'm now the top.
Okay, like, here's the thing. I really like this theory. Like, I think this theory makes just a lot of sense. Like, there's all the story reasons that you laid out, but then you're adding on top of that, okay, the logistical reasons here, including he would have access to the dry cleaning business. He would know all of that. I would assume that he's at least aware of the Velvet Room on some level. We know from at least watching enough various mob movies and TV shows that at times, the head person in charge may try to shield their family a little bit, but it doesn't feel like to me that this is all that cloistered a secret. It feels like this is something Braden would be very aware of, or if not, he would have snuck around and found out some things on his own. Like, if they are all these brothers willing to fund a podcast and try to get some stuff together. That tells me that they have a certain level of ambition.
Absolutely. I feel like it's probably they may have been around a little bit, not necessarily enough to know about the cards or everything like that, but I
Yeah.
do feel that if it's Braden, that he snuck around, that he happened to see him one night doing this, or that he was, giving money to Lester, or all these different things with the cards. And I think that he just came up with this plan and tried to put it together. And again, maybe Lester saw and he was just way too deep in.
One other thing I like about this is it's kind of an echo in a way of season 3 and season 4, where it's not even close to the same thing, but it's this idea of we get so distracted a lot of the time looking at all the big names, and it's easy to. I mean, Renee Zellweger, Christoph Waltz, like all these great people. But then it's like, okay, in season 3, where it was ultimately Donna and Cliff, and they weren't the biggest actors on that show.
No.
Marshall in season 4, certainly not the biggest name in that cast.
No. And so if they are kind of going in that direction, then all the big players, they're not going to end up being the killers.
All right. Well, one more family connection let's get into here, and let's shift things over to Lester and talk a little bit about Lester's wife here.
Yeah. Is it the spouse? I mean, it's possible. I mean, maybe she was trying to deal with Nicky because she wanted Lester to get out of this. We saw Lester trying to talk to Nicky, being like, hey, it's my anniversary this Saturday. I've been doing this every Saturday for decades now. Can I have this Saturday off to be with my wife for anniversary? No, take it for a picnic on Sunday. Women love that stuff, but you're not going to get out of this. You get out of this when I say you get out of this.
Yeah.
And at that point, if he's telling his wife this, maybe his wife's like, no, I say you get out of this when you get out of this, so I'm going to go and take care of Nicky.
This one is interesting to me because it fits the bill from the vantage point of, okay, it is a little bit unexpected, because I think we would all wonder, okay, how would she have access to the dry cleaning part of everything? How is she moving around Nicky's body? Like, I think there's all
And
those.
the same with the cops. Like,
Yeah.
we saw the cops there, like, setting it up as this, hit from this other family.
Now, there is one element of this that I do find very, very interesting. And we've talked many times about your love for revenge stories. I love stories where there is a mole. It's probably why I love the reality show The Mole. But it's just the idea that, was she a mole for Nicky's operation this whole time? And like, maybe she was somehow in on all of this and found out that Lester, was trying to get out. And maybe she orchestrated something and decided to take out Nicky because she wanted to get a little bit more of the power back for herself. Like, this theory, it's a little bit more out there than the Sophia or the Sons, but it's just, maybe there's more to her past that we did not see in the flashbacks because, this is showrunner John Hoffman's show, right? Like, he doesn't have to give us all the information in a given time period. Like, they can share whenever they want certain things to be shared.
Absolutely. There might be more to Lester's wife than we know.
Yeah, and that part of it, at least to me, is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one of my favorite theories that's out there, and it's a little bit ridiculous, but is the mayor the person who did all of this? Like, somehow has Keegan-Michael Key stepped up to the plate?
Listen, I think it's possible because this is Nicky is a big profile death. I mean, he, is a mobster, and everything that he had been doing. I mean, if this death happens during his run for mayor, at that point, then it's like, well, this happened because of everything that I've been doing. I'm trying to clean up the city, and look, I'm doing it, sort of thing, or it's under my watch. I feel like a big death like Nicky's and his attachment to the mob is then going to be something that's going to make the mayor look good if he's able to spin it in a really good way with the cops.
I just think that this theory, if you really dug deep into it, you can argue a lot of the things that you've said already. And then also is it a little bit strange that he just so happens to be there for Lester's memorial?
Super weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Like, he can spin it and be like, I am here for the common man, and a lot of this sort of typical mayor talk that's out there.
I want to see the mayor at my funeral, or I'll haunt it.
Hopefully not anytime soon. Like, yeah, no, it's one of these sort of.
It's super weird that he showed up for
It's
it.
really, really weird that he showed up for that. And it feels like to me, it's like, okay, you want to sort of be there, so you're abreast of whatever sort of conversations are happening
Right.
around this guy. And you probably have been to the Velvet Room before because,
Oh, yes.
typically you're involved in this line of work. Odds are you probably have a lot of money. You're
Hmm.
pretty successful. And I also just feel like if we're talking solely from the standpoint of like, what actor would really jump at the opportunity to do something like this? Like, Key and Peele's like one of the best sketch shows of the last like 30 years. Keegan-Michael does not have to do this show. It feels like to me, he would love the idea of taking on something this enticing. I just don't feel like this is the only time we're going to see this character. And
Hmm.
if we are, it's kind of weird. You cast somebody this iconic of a comedic performer, you feature them once and then never again.
Okay, let's talk about Randall, the new doorman.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, he was told by Lester to just stay away from Nikki, stay away from the Nikki of it all, even though
Yeah.
he kind of saw, he's getting these envelopes, what's in it, what's going on with this mysteriousness, all of that. That Lester seemingly was just going to keep on keeping on until, Nikki told him not to, right? But he was trying to make it that Randall wasn't going to get stuck in the same situation. Is it possible that Randall found out that he's getting these big envelopes of money and he wants in on that too, and Lester has to go so that he's able to get to that money?
I think it's a real possibility, and I know that Randall is a new character, and so from that vantage point, he doesn't come from money. Like it can be trickier to connect the dots here, but we already have our tinfoil hats on, so let's
Mhm.
just dive into this idea here because this is a story in my head right now, but this is a story about Randall and vengeance for something that happened many years ago. So let's say that Randall happens to be the son of someone who was at the Velvet Room a long time ago. And maybe they ended up just being completely destroyed by something that happened down there. Like maybe they got involved in the wrong business. Maybe they were taken out by Nikki or someone associated with the mob. And they've always had this axe to grind because of it. And it's like, okay, I know I want to take out Nikki. But then you're also finding out that Lester has been, to some degree helping this continue. Like he's taking the money, and whether
Mhm.
he's, whether the reason is that he's scared to get away from it, he likes the job, no matter what. If you're somebody who has been out for vengeance for a very long time,
Mhm.
you're probably not thinking with the nuance anymore of, oh, maybe Lester doesn't have a choice. You're probably just like, you're responsible in your own way, man.
Yeah, listen, John Wick is killed for less. You stole his car, it's over. He's going to take everybody out.
It's okay. Yeah, Randall could be the John Wick of this season. Like it feels just like it's a little bit out of left field, but once again, the idea of this murder being personal, like I'm
Mhm.
always going to be down for, okay, this is a personal crime that's being committed rather than it just be something related to money or an accident. It's just like those things are never as fun, and this would also be another opportunity to like dive really deep into history if this original thing that happened to Randall's parent was a long time ago. And a lot of this season supposedly is about the history of New York.
Okay, speaking of history, we have to talk about Howard because we have to talk
Yes.
about Howard every single season because there is still this overall person, a Moriarty of this whole thing that could be controlling everything. We know that there's cameras in Oliver's apartment, the different apartments. We know that there's the note that who knows who this was written by, and lots of people out there think that Howard is the mastermind behind it all. And here's what I'm going to say about this season,
Yeah.
these murders, and that finger and Howard. It was very,
Okay.
very weird that Howard came into Oliver's apartment asking very specifically about the shrimp and if he can take a tray for his dog. And I was just like, okay. Oliver said that he had two trays of shrimp. One has the finger in it, one doesn't have the finger in it. But it was very weird to me that he was like, okay, I'll just take this whole tray then. Like, is he hoping that the finger is going to be in there? Does he know that the finger is going to be in there? Was he down in the Velvet Room at some point? Was he gambling with Jay's finger and now it's here in the shrimp dip? Like, who knows what's going on with that? But I did find it very weird that he asked specifically for that shrimp tray, and that's where the finger seemingly was being kept on ice.
Okay. let's continue cooking with Howard for a moment here, because it's like, I know that there might be some people out there that are just like, okay, Howard being responsible for everything, how does it work? But it's just like, there are breadcrumbs. The breadcrumb that
Sure.
you mentioned with the shrimp, like that's a big one for this season. That it's just like, even if he did not take out anybody directly this season, him might maybe being involved in it, he might have directed people when it comes to the Velvet Room. He might have helped them access it. You
Yeah.
mentioned the cameras. Like, another thing to me that I don't know if it's a full-fledged clue, but it's just very interesting, is that if you go back to episode 2 and you see all these flashbacks to Howard, and it really feels like over the course of that episode, you see Howard kind of blossom and find himself more and more and become more comfortable. And I sort of feel like Howard over the years is learning more and more about how to be a chameleon. Yeah, he's been able to figure out how to open up about himself to his mom, but you just think about a lot of other things that he does. Everything from the sweaters to the dogs to the silly talk about the animal jobs podcast. Like, there's a
The
lot of,
acting.
yeah, like a lot of it feels very, very ridiculous, but he comes across as so sweet and so unassuming
The
that,
librarian.
yeah, it's just, it's
Come
not
on.
that hard to sit back and be like, okay, all of this is an act, and it's really easy to infiltrate yourself into every single thing when it's just like, oh, look, it's so sweet, innocent Howard. Let's just go and give him a hug.
Yeah, is he just quirky or is he killing everybody?
Like, it's a question that will always be out there. I think Michael Cyril Creighton, who plays this character, like, he's basically said at this point that the writers write this in a way where they want you at least thinking about it. Like, regardless of whether or not Howard is really the big bad, like, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just have a couple more names to run through here. Like, we can mention Thea because she was in this episode, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, why are we meeting this character now? I'm just going to say this. I just hope not, because I find this character really annoying.
I don't think it's gonna be her. I just don't. I think that she's there to help with Mabel's story this season. So hopefully Mabel will not have a love interest, and instead she's gonna be dealing with, skeletons from her past.
Yeah, all right. And finally, we have the billionaires. And I know we could individualize Jay, Camilla, and Bash to a certain extent, but it's
Mhm.
just like, we don't really know that much about any of them other than their jobs. So it's hard to really look at them as individuals at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I've been able to really think of is that the Velvet Room, I think, has cameras. Like, I just feel
Mhm.
like Nikki, and as it's been passed through the years, they've got the place bugged. That if they have the most powerful and elite people down there, they're selling information. They're getting information. They're selling information because they said all the biggest deals are happening down there.
Yeah.
I don't think that this place is not being filmed and is not being bugged. So they may be worried that they had some kind of night where they said whatever they said and they're afraid of it getting out. So they had to take care of Nikki, framed the other family to be like, well, it wasn't us. It was, these two guys just going at it, sort of thing. And Lester just happened to see. And what I'm really worried about is that Lester's death is going to be because he happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I really don't want to see that. I want to see that Lester really went out a hero, that he
Yeah.
was doing something to like stop it, or he saw something and he was doing the right thing. And because he was doing the right thing, he ended up dead.
I want to have my heart broken in this instance. Like, I want it to be meaningful. Like,
Yeah.
this show, it's funny, but it can be really emotional. So, okay, think back to the start of this video when Jess said, all theories are welcome, while
Yeah,
I
they
pull
are.
out something completely absurd for a
Welcome,
moment.
welcome.
Okay, so these billionaires, they couldn't have done this directly themselves. Like, you've got more.
Hire somebody.
Yeah, like, they're so rich. Okay, here we go. Randall is a hitman, and Randall was hired by one or three of them to infiltrate this from the inside so that they can figure out, okay, what does Nicky know about some sort of deal that went south? He can kind of be there on the periphery, or rather, what does Lester know about some of it? Because if Lester does know something, then Lester does become a danger, and then Lester is actually taken out for some sort of reason, and
Yeah.
maybe Lester, because he is this tremendous judge of character, or at least I want to think that he is, because he's been doing this for so long and he
Mhm.
feels all this guilt for not figuring out these other murderers. Like, maybe he does figure out that Randall is, hired to do this, and this is why he ends up getting taken out.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's a great theory. I mean, I don't think it's that out there that if the trio of billionaires are going to hire somebody, that it's going to be sort of, we'll call it an inside job, where it's somebody maybe like the doorman. I mean, we did have that whole episode about the doorman.
Yeah.
And, a lot of us feel like it's about Lester and a way
Yeah.
to say goodbye to Lester. But there were a bunch of other doormans in there too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be a doorman taking out a doorman for money.
Maybe Randall's not learning about a doorman because he's never been one, because he's never practiced this trade, because he's practicing another.
All right.
Okay, no, all right. No, that's all of our theories right now about possible suspects. But we want to know from you guys, who do you think is actually behind this? Do you think that there are two murderers? Is it all connected? Let us know. And hit that subscribe button for more, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have that link in the description. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us, and we'll see you here next time.